Got an idea for a podcast and think you have the talent to make it a reality? Already have a podcast but been thinking you could take it up a notch, but you're just not sure how to do it? Well, Toxic Entertainment has everything you need to go from podcasting to podcasting. Bring us your talent, your passion, and your best ideas. We'll bring to the table our state-of-the-art technology and comfortable facility, creative and professional staff dedicated to bringing your ideas to life, competitively priced packages to suit your goals and budget, and over 10 years of experience as a leader in the podcasting field. Toxic Entertainment offers quality and affordability that can't be beat. When you're ready to start your journey, Toxic Entertainment is here to help you reach your destination. Learn more at toxicentertainment.net or call 888-66-TOXIC to arrange a studio tour. That's 888-66-86942. Toxic Entertainment, where creativity meets passion. All sports talk shows are the same, right?
I am bothered by everything.
You gotta go back to football school.
The goal of this guy, it's just immeasurable.
Wrong. In a world filled with talking heads more interested in their own celebrity than actually knowing the sports world, it's hard to find the people who really care about sports first. Look no further. Wire to Wire has it all covered. These guys have the knowledge and the cred to back up their opinions. No hot takes to get attention, just straight up opinions. Know anyone else who correctly called the 2020 World Series and March Madness? How about 70% on the NFL and NCAA football last year? You don't. Bottom line, these guys know their shit. They aren't doing it for attention, they're doing it for passion. Wire to Wire, live every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, only on Toxic Radio and wherever you find podcasts.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to, let me fix my Santa hat there, Birds Deep with the Godfrey, TheGodfrey. And next to me, got my man, Mean Gene.
Mean! Woo! Gene!
Got a lot to talk about. We got the Eagles victorious at the Omnicron Bowl, which was Tuesday night. The COVID Bowl, if you will. It was weird seeing two games at the same time on Tuesday night. Didn't hate it, but did like the Eagles win, so that was fun. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Gene's phone, and we're going to talk about draft picks. That's right. Carson has matured. He has hatched into a first-rounder, and we're going to talk about what the Eagles should or shouldn't do or could do with it, and all the other usual stuff you come to love. So, what do you want to jump into first?
Grades, bro. Grades.
Grades?
Always grades. Always grades. Recap the game.
Grades, recap the game. All right, well, we could do that fresh. It's only 2 days ago, which is good, because normally we're farther away from the game.
Got to start with Jalen Hurts.
I give him a B+.
Oh, man, me and you on the same wavelength. One day. This never happens. I gave him a B+ also. His completion numbers were very good. He did lack arm strength on that deep ball to Devontae Smith. He turned the ball over once. I don't say twice. I'm not saying he turned the ball over twice. That Dallas Goedert pass was perfectly thrown. Bounced off Dallas Goedert's foot. I don't count that against Jalen Hurts. So he gets a B+ for me.
Goddard has some concentration problems lately, it seems like drops he shouldn't drop.
But he's dominating, though.
I like him.
If you look at, if he catches those two balls, he might have 200 yards.
There was already behind him when he missed that ball. He could have went to the end zone, possibly.
He dropped two huge balls.
Yeah. I agree.
Which could have made Hurts' numbers look really good. 22 of 26.
Yeah, I gave Hurts a B+ because there are some things I didn't like. That's why I was an A+. You know, that we talked about it before the show. That fumble was horrible. He's holding like a loaf of bread. I didn't even see this on TV. You said you saw Nick Sirianni chewing him out.
Oh, yes. It was very, very, very well documented, sir.
Which I like, because I like a player that can be coached hard, right? And I feel like Jalen's that type of guy. And he was totally right to chew him out for that. You know, it was a bad fumble. There were some throws where I wasn't happy, but the reason why I gave him a B+ is especially the catch Devontae Smith got that was challenged and overturned. That was a really good throw. It was a great catch, but a really good throw too. And those are the type of throws that I like to see from a quarterback as they're maturing as a thrower, because those are NFL-type throws. Those aren't throws you see as often in college. You see them more in the pros. And the win in the pros, when you're playing from behind or in overtime or you're in a 2-minute drill, you need to be able to throw to the sidelines. And that was one of those plays where Devontae Smith made a text. It was beautiful. I mean, you had to see the replay to even realize that it was a catch. You weren't sure.
I actually think the throw to Greg Ward was better.
It was a good throw.
That was
a
a
good
great
throw,
throw.
too.
Back shoulder,
Yep.
right on the money. Only where a receiver can have it. It was. I felt like that was. He made a couple really good throws. B+ is a solid grade. I can't give him an A for a couple reasons. One, Washington's missing half their team. Half their defense wasn't there.
You did that Montez Sweat, though.
And then B, you can't fumble that ball. You can't. You can't hold it like a loaf of bread.
In the red zone, too.
You delete the first quarter, Jalen Hurts will get an A.
Yeah.
A minus, A. But you know.
The red zone, you can't have turnovers in the red zone. You can't. I don't care. If you come away with a field goal, that's great. But you can't have turnovers in the red zone. It's just lost points either way you look at it. You know, and I just feel like that's something like he's gonna have to get better at.
100%.
And he picked himself up. A lot of younger quarterbacks in that situation would do that, and they would be done for the game. Their confidence would be destroyed. So you gotta have a short memory as a quarterback. I don't get that feeling from Jalen where he's living in.
Isn't that called dog mentality?
Could be like dog. Yeah, rough, right?
No, it's the Nick Sirianni's definition of dog mentality, which I thought is stupid. But hey, listen, I get it. I understand that those guys keep talking about it. So, and one thing we got to talk about with Nick Sirianni, man. Like Nick Sirianni is second on the list. I gave Nick Sirianni an A.
I give him an A+.
I gave him an A. One, through everything that happened, he still had his team ready. Two, if it wasn't for Bill Belichick, you think Nick Sirianni could actually win out and win Coach of the Year?
He would be a candidate for sure.
He's definitely the best first-year coach. Him and Brandon Staley are battling for it, but I think Sirianni is the best first-year coach. Like, if we came out of this year with one thing I'm 100% sure of, I'm 100% sure on the hire of Nick Sirianni. I think he looks good, and I just think that's the truth. I think he looks really good.
I
sound like his play calling, yelling at Jalen Hurts on the sideline, getting in his ass, the gameplay. Listen, throwing wasn't working. Change the script, flip the script, running the ball. They're the number one rush offense in football. They're playing to their strengths. They're playing to Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Jordan Mailata.
Yeah, and I got to give him credit for that because some coaches don't. And I think the reason why. So I think you've seen an ascension of younger coaches getting hired in the league in the last 5 to 10 years, whereas before you had a lot of retreads. And the reason why is a lot of these older coaches would say, "No, you fit my system, not let me cater the system to your strengths." And
Solid point.
And the younger coaches seem to do that, and that's why I was excited about him. A lot of people were down on him, and I said, "Well, how can you love Frank Reich and be so down on Sirianni?" Because that's where he came from. If Frank recommends him, and I think Frank's a phenomenal coach, I think a lot of people in Philadelphia do. And I think in Indianapolis they feel the same way. And I was excited that he was coming from that tree. I didn't want a coach from the tree of Belichick. That's failed miserably. I wasn't feeling too good about a coach from the tree, Andy Reid. Although they've had success recently, they have not. And something like look at Matt Nagy. He's from there. And I was excited about it.
That's an unfair statement.
What, Nagy?
You can't. Nagy stinks, but he's had plenty of coaches.
Oh, he has had plenty
from his tree that
recently.
Sean McDermott.
But that's not recent. He's been there for a while.
You can't do that.
McDermott's
Peterson.
good. Although, yeah, good.
Okay. Eric Bieniemy's going to be good.
Well, we'll
So
see.
you're just talking about one coach, Matt Nagy. That's not a fair statement. You can't do that.
Who else has come from the tree? Brad Childress,
John
not
Harbaugh.
good.
Like
Brad
you wanna
Childress.
keep-
Brad Childress,
Okay.
not good. Chili
Doesn't
Willy,
mean every single person that gets hired from the Andy
Right.
Reid tree is going to be good.
right? I'm just saying, like
I'd still take Eric Bieniemy over Nick.
I don't
I'd
know.
still take him over Nick
I mean,
Sirianni.
maybe. I mean, it's
I'd
hard to
pause
tell though.
myself by saying that there.
it's-
I feel like Nick's earned my respect.
I feel like Eric Bieniemy is going to have a chance to prove himself, and maybe he's waiting for Andy Reid to retire. I'm not sure, or he takes a job this year because he could have had a job last
I'll
year.
tell you the truth. He's waiting for racist white owners to hire him. If we're being honest about it. I'm getting sick of that bullshit.
Well,
These coaches, Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach in
Yeah,
the
but
NFL.
if you were him, would you want to go to the Texans?
It's not the Texans. The Atlanta Falcons said he interviewed bad.
Okay.
Oh, out of here with that bullshit. And then they hired Arthur Smith. He's doing great down there. Get the fuck out of here.
He's doing okay. Yeah, he's not doing great. I mean, Arthur Smith is part of the Good Old Boys Network. I mean, the whole reason he got a job.
His name's Arthur Smith. I think you can figure that one out.
Well, isn't his dad a big-time FedEx executive?
I don't know.
Yeah, he is. That's the whole reason why I believe he got into the Tennessee Titans in the first place. Not as offensive coordinator, but worked his way up.
My main point is Eric Bieniemy needs to be a head coach somewhere. I think.
Oh yeah, definitely deserves the opportunity. I agree 100%. I just feel like if I'm him, I'm not taking any opportunity like Brian Daboll didn't take any opportunity from the Bills, because if I'm playing with a young quarterback, why do I want to go to somewhere where it's a bad situation? I mean, I'm pretty sure I would bet my top dollar that either him or Doug Peterson will be the next Jaguars coach.
I actually, I don't disagree with you. I think the best coach for that situation would be Eric Bieniemy.
You could be right. I mean, listen, he worked with a young quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. It's on his resume. I don't see why not. I don't disagree there. I mean,
Lovie Smith deserves another head coach job too. By the way,
you think so?
Hell yeah,
He needs a solid offensive coordinator with him.
agreed.
So
But look at what he did last year. He won a Super Bowl with that defense.
yeah. Wait, what you mean with the Bucks?
Yes,
I thought that was Bowles.
Todd Bowles. Sorry, not Lovie Smith. Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
My apologies.
I was like, wait a second. I was like, different defensive guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he
different.
deserves a shot for sure. I agree. There's a lot of coaches out there that deserve a shot, but those are younger coaches too. And I think some of the, they're getting away from some of these retreads that are these older coaches that had 3 or 4 jobs. Like, I don't want to hear anything about North. I mean, North Turner's long gone, but those guys.
I get your point.
It's just like, okay, let's move on.
Speaking of defensive guys, how did you grade Jonathan Gannon?
I gave him a C-. I did not
Really?
I did not like his. Here's my thing. I don't understand. I was watching the first part of the game, and you knew they were going to run the ball. Is this kid going to pass the lights out? Is he going to beat Darius Slay on the edge? Is Terry McLaurin? You can rely on Darius Slay to hold down Terry McLaurin. Can you bring a safety up? Can we blitz? Can we produce some turnovers? And I just felt like it was vanilla. I felt like they weren't going after the quarterback, and they knew they were going to run the ball, and I just didn't see any pressure. The D-line, okay, get pressure from him, but why can't – I know he doesn't like the blitz, but I'm looking at the safeties. They're back. The first part of the game, they're up, 7-0 at one point, 10-0? Was it 10-0 or 7-0?
They were up 10-0.
Right.
One of the
pick wasn't his fault.
Not at all. And they started at the 25-yard line, and the field goal was off another turnover. So both their scores at the beginning of the game were off turnovers, and the Eagles were up 20-10.
Yeah, the Eagles play well. I wasn't digging the game plan. I mean,
C- is too low, bro.
Where do you think?
I listen. I didn't give him great. I gave him a B. I'm not giving him an A or an A plus, but a B is sufficient. You're holding the team to 17 points, an NFL team, especially off of 10 points came off directly off of turnovers. 7 points they scored off of their own.
How many turnovers you get? I swear I had the
They
stats
had 2.
here. Right.
They had
He didn't throw any, they were only, well, they had, you're talking about us. I'm talking about, did we produce any turnovers, the Eagles? I don't think they really, no picks.
No.
I know they didn't throw a pick.
They recovered a fumble. That's it.
I just feel like they should have been able to rattle this kid. He was on the street.
Causing turnovers is not how I view a defense.
Right.
Yardage and points are.
Well, I felt like, listen, when they got that first touchdown, we knew Antonio Gibson was going to run the ball. That's all they had. That's what they did. And I just, why not run blitz? Why not be more aggressive at the run? Why not bring a safety up?
They did.
But it didn't look like that unless the safety was getting blown up on the second level.
They let up 17 points and 10 were off turnovers.
Right. I'm not talking about the defensive. I'm just talking about how he called the game. I'm just talking about that's why I just,
they stuffed the box. Pull up Antonio Gibson's stats.
He only had 26 yards, but he also got hurt during the game too.
What are we talking about?
I'm talking about specifically.
How many rushing yards have?
The Giants in general?
Not the Giants, the football team.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the football team, the Potatoes. The whatever.
How many rushing yards have?
I'm gonna guess about 50.
You're
maybe
guessing?
Less. Yeah, because I don't have it in front of me. I know Antonio Gibson was 17 for 26.
And that's not a good job? That's not stacking the box? If you could stop the run game.
He got hurt. He did get hurt during the game.
17 carries. for 26 yards. What are you talking about?
I still don't think it was a good job by him.
What?
I need
Bro,
to see more
what do you want?
aggressive-
Do you want,
I want to
you
see
want the
more
91 Buddy Ryan defense?
Nope.
Get
I want
out
to
of
see more
here.
aggressiveness.
I don't know what you're watching, bro.
They were down 10-0, and listen,
That's
it's not-
off turnovers. That's nothing to
Right.
do with Jonathan Gannon.
It doesn't. But at the same time, can't you match the intensity with the aggressiveness? I just don't feel like there was enough blitzing there. I just wanted to see more blitzing. You knew
Okay.
the playbook's limited when you're playing against a guy like this. They're not going to have their full accoutrement of plays or accoutrement of plays.
They ran the ball 21 times for 63 total yards.
Yeah, so it was around 60. Okay.
It's 3 yards to carry, which if they did that every week, they'd be number 1 rush defense in football.
Yeah, but you also got hurt, and as you mentioned, they were playing with half their team, right?
It was 21 carry. The offense wasn't on the COVID list. Heineke was. That's it.
Heineke was.
No offensive linemen were.
No J.D. McKissick.
It's not on a COVID list.
No, he's just been hurt, but you're still minus him. That's a big part of their passing game on third down.
You can't tell me that Jonathan Gannon didn't do a good job stopping the run when they ran the ball for 3 fucking yards to carry.
Oh, I'm not specifically bringing up the run. I'm just saying that I'm not saying he didn't do a good job stopping the run. I'm talking about I didn't like the way they came out.
If you could stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, why would you not do that? Why would you not do if you could do it without blitzing and you could protect your back end? Why would you not do that?
I don't know the stats of how many QB hurries they had versus sacks.
I watched the game, bro. He was harried the entire game. He was throwing off his ass. He threw a ton of balls away. They should have had a lot more sacks. He threw balls into the ground to where no receivers were. He threw the ball away a ton.
My problem with him, Jonathan Gannon, is overall. I need to see more aggressiveness.
You just don't like him. It's fine. It's like Minshew.
I don't hate him.
You just dislike him. It's fair. It's like Minshew.
No, I don't dislike Minshew either. I think he's a great backup.
I can't talk to you if you're going to tell me that Jonathan Gannon got a C- because he wasn't stuffing the box. That is absurd.
I just thought he should be more aggressive.
Oh, okay. Let's move on. That's absurd. The Eagles won the football game 27-17. The defense played well. The offense played well after the first quarter. Jalen Hurts bounced back. I need to speak to the Philadelphia Eagles fans that were calling for Gardner Minshew after Hurts fumbled. The first thing he did wrong. They're like, we need Minshew.
Your timeline must be wild, dude, because I don't like. I got to take a look at your timeline because I don't.
I've seen
how are people calling for him?
Did you see the comments?
I read a few of them. I was just like, this is garbage. I'm going to go back to the game.
And dude, stop calling him a running back, man. I get he's a scrambling quarterback. Stop calling him a running back.
It's not a running back.
It's not a fucking running back. He's a quarterback.
I mean, listen, that's stupid because it's his strength, right? Like, and he's building on the other parts of his game, and it's not a running back. I mean, listen, they short him like that because he's not your atypical quarterback.
Correct.
Is bullshit because, listen, people that were doing that already didn't like Jalen Hurts, and they weren't going to give him a fair shot. And then anything that comes close to being able to discredit them, they're going to jump on it and multiply it times 10. And that's what happened right there. Anybody, I mean, that saw that play with Dallas Goedert, I didn't even. Did you realize that was that it hit his foot? I didn't see it hit his foot.
I didn't see it hit his foot.
Right. Neither did the announcers. So that's why when they came back, they were like, "Oh, it hit his foot." So for anybody to be like, "Oh, we threw interception, we bring in Minshew,"
that was not his fault. The interception
at all.
Out of his hands. And by the way, the Eagles ran the ball for 238 yards.
Pretty dominant.
They had over 500 yards in that game of offense. Jalen Hurts moved them up and down the field, did everything he needed to do. Nick Sirianni had a perfect game plan.
I feel like it was one of his better games.
I felt like they were running the ball through holes that were a truck could drive through.
Oh, offensive line is just dominated.
Dude, Lane Johnson had an amazing play on a wide receiver screen with Jalen Reagor. Jason Kelsey had an amazing play with
It's weird to hear that
huge
in
run.
the same sentence. Jalen Reagor, amazing play.
Hey, Miles Sanders almost had a touchdown. I love that Jason Kelsey where he threw his hands up because he was pissed off that Miles Sanders didn't run behind his block 25 yards down the field. Mm-hmm. You got an NFL center 25 yards down the field on a running play trying to break out. It's unbelievable. That guy's incredible. He's a Hall of Fame center. Yeah. And if you think differently, you need your head examined.
I wonder if they could ever look up like the stats of being the fastest center of all time. He has to be there. Has to be there. I mean, you just don't see that often, where the center's just down the field and he's like, "Can you follow me?" And like I love him. I mean,
It's
that's
absurd. He's so good.
yeah. Him and Lane being on that offensive line, and and then you got Mailata. I mean, you got Dickerson, who wasn't there, but overall, I'm talking about they're dominating, running the ball this year. They're just pure dominating.
Give Jeff Stoutland a contract and tell him write down how much you want to get paid.
I mean, I think it's fair to say the Eagles have the best rushing attack in the NFL.
Well, they're number one statistically, so yes, that would be fair.
So I mean, I just Sirianni's definitely turned course, and they're playing to Jalen's strengths. And if you say that he's just a running back after watching a game, that was one of his better passing games, I feel.
20 of 26, and Dallas Goedert had 2 very obvious drops, so it could have been 22 out of 26.
Yeah, bad drops. Yeah, and Dallas Goedert
And
that could have been a touchdown on that first one.
And 2 of the passes incomplete. I know exactly what they were. They were passes to Devontae Smith. One was a terrible pass in the back of the end zone where it looked like Devontae Smith was hurt. And then the other one was just a little underthrown deep ball. It was about 40, 50 yards downfield. Other than that, like he was perfect the entire game.
I feel like his deep ball's suffering from mechanics, not necessarily ability.
It's arm strength.
You think it's arm strength?
It's not mechanics. It's arm strength. He doesn't have it. He's never had it. He didn't have it at Alabama. Didn't have it at Oklahoma. Doesn't have it here. He just doesn't have it. You can't develop it.
But
you can't develop that.
I feel like his arm's stronger.
It's not.
Than Minshew's.
It's not.
You don't think? I think so. I mean, I think
mean,
Minshew doesn't have a stronger. He's more accurate. Minshew was more accurate. If we're talking 2 weeks ago, right? Like, I mean, you can't
tell me Jalen Hurts has more arm strength than Gardner Minshew. It's not accurate.
I definitely think he does.
Okay, you're just saying opinions that aren't.
I'm not. I'm going based off what I saw watching them both throw the ball. I think there's more. I think there's more arm talent there as far as strength than there is with Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew shows more accurate, but I've seen Gardner Minshew play games where he was all over.
Does Gardner Minshew have like a doll at home? Do you have a doll at home where you like poke the doll and like it's like where did he hurt you?
No, I've watched him.
I hate this guy so much.
I don't hate these. I don't hate him at all.
Like this is just it's not like listen, Jalen Hurts 100% is the better quarterback prospect than Gardner Minshew. I'm here agreeing with you on that. But like, don't say absurdities like Gardner Minshew.
It's not absurdity. Where are you seeing his arm talent? I've watched games when he was a starting quarterback for Jaguars, and he didn't have superb arm talent. We're not talking about a guy that was throwing dimes here and that. I just don't. I think Jalen Hurts long term is going to have better arm talent than this guy. I just really think the upside's there in his arm better than Minshew. I think Minshew, you've seen what he can do arm wise. If he gets a shot somewhere else, or hopefully not here because it means Hurts got hurt, then we'll see. But I mean, I'm looking at he's had 2 years where he's had multiple starts.
What does that have to do with his arm strength?
There's a lot on tape. That's all I'm saying.
And on tape it will show you he's got it. I'm not saying he's got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes' arm strength.
No,
but he's not Chad Pennington, and that's what Jalen Hurts' arm strength is.
Pennington is like, I mean, he made it to the playoffs. But Chad Pennington's arm strength was that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. But he made it to the playoffs.
So, speaking of arm strength, another person with more arm strength than Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, reached his 75% threshold already. So, the Eagles turns into a first-round draft pick.
Positive.
That's 100% a positive. The Eagles now have 3 first-round draft picks in the upcoming draft. How would you like them to use those draft picks?
I don't want them to trade back. I could tell you I don't want them to trade back. I want them to make picks. I feel like
if you think the Eagles are making 3 draft picks, you don't know Howie Roseman. They're not making 3.
You're asking what I want, not what I think will happen.
So what do you think will happen, or what do you think should happen?
What I think will happen is I think Howie's going to try to pull the invent the wheel move, and he's going to be like, all right, let's trade back a couple times, get some more assets, and make 1 first-round pick, and then we get an extra second-round pick, and some kind of cockamamie bullshit like that. When I think like when you need talent on a team, and if you're going to build around Jalen Hurts, I think you should absolutely draft 3 first-round picks. I mean, I think.
So what do you want them to be?
I don't know that yet. I can't honestly tell you.
Edge rusher, defensive tackle, linebacker,
I would like an edge
cornerback.
rusher. I would like an edge rusher for sure. I would love a linebacker.
You know what the problem with edge rushers are?
What's that?
There's 2 elite edge rushers coming out of college football, and they'll both be gone before the Eagles pick.
So we probably have no shot at them.
There's another edge rusher out of Purdue who I think is severely overrated. Like he's being rated as like 9th or 10th.
I feel like
I think that's where we'll end up we'll end up getting him.
He's going to end up.
Forget
on
his
the team.
name. I got to look it up. I forget his name, but he's not. He's obviously not Kayvon Thibodeau, and he's not the kid from Michigan,
The kid from Michigan. I was watching some stuff.
Aiden
on him.
Hutchinson. He's not either one of those guys, and those two guys are special. So if one of those guys fall to you at 9, 10, 11, by all means, you take Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau.
What if they package 2 of their first-round picks to move up and get Hutchinson?
I wouldn't hate that. I mean, these are game-changing edge rushers. These are Joey Nick Bosa's. Like, this is what they are. I personally would rather have Aiden Hutchinson because I think Kayvon Thibodeau reminds me so much of like a Jadeveon Clowney type.
No, I don't
a
want
guy,
that.
a guy that will give it to you. I don't know, 60, 70% of the time. A guy that is in football at the business of football. Whereas Aiden Hutchinson is the guy that stayed back at Michigan another year because he was pissed off and he wanted to beat Ohio State. Like, that's the type of guy I want. Like, I will do whatever to win. Like, I'm not losing. Like
anybody that comes from a Harbaugh team, I'm in on.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I just and because I know. Listen, some people don't like John or Jim or whatever.
How you not like either one of them?
Well, some people didn't like Jim, but I mean, it is absurd, and I just feel like those guys are just the type of coaches to get the most out of their players. And I just feel like if you play for a guy like that, you're not going to be able to dog it. They won't let you dog it. That's a big fear. Like, I mean, think about some of these defensive ends that have come out that were highly touted. Like Mario Williams, he's pretty good, right? But he didn't really live up to the hype.
Definitely didn't.
Right. Jadeveon Clowney didn't live up to the hype.
Definitely didn't.
I think he cashed in a lot on that big fucking tackle he made behind the line for a loss. Like,
no, he cashed in a lot because he's a superior talent.
Right.
He was a freak. And you know what the first thing I think of when I think of Jadeveon Clowney is like someone like Javon Curse.
I
think of freak. Like it's somebody that's like unbelievably talented. But you have to have the passion and desire to be great. Right. To be on that next level.
Javon Curse was funny because when he came to the Eagles, I was excited. I remember that. But if you look at his career trajectory from his rookie year down, it was a downward. It was each year was down, down, down. He peaked in his rookie year almost, and I liked him on the Eagles. Don't get me wrong; he went to a Super Bowl with them, but I just kind of feel like I hate Javon Curse comparisons because it makes me feel I don't feel like he ended up being a game changing defensive end in longer. And I want like a Bosa type. I mean, if you ask me number one on my board, it would definitely be at the end.
Okay, so I pulled it up just for the hell of it. I want to read you the mock draft that I look at. I look at Tankathon a lot because I got into it with NBA.
Tankathon.
It's a pretty good website for
I'm gonna
mock
check
drafts.
that
But
out.
they got Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau going 1 and 2. So
okay.
you're not going to get either one of them.
Yeah, that's impossible.
The first pick for the Eagles, they have us taking the interior lineman from Texas A&M by the name of DeMarvin Leal. He's a defensive tackle. I think that means they're planning on moving on from Fletcher Cox at that point because you have Javon Hargraves, you have Fletcher Cox.
Is this guy a stud?
He's very good. I don't think he's as good as the kid from Georgia, but the kid from Georgia that Jordan Davis that will win every award as a defensive lineman can't play 3 downs. He's huge. He's like 360 pounds. He's absurdly big. And with the 12th pick, they have us taking another wide receiver by the name of Jamison Williams from Alabama. Kid's a stud. Was in the Ohio State program, transferred out because Olave and Wilson came back. He's a stud. And then with our 23rd pick, which is going to come from the Colts now, they have us taking Ahmad Gardner, who's a stud cornerback from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all. Is he what's his stat? Is he a big corner? Is he a small corner? Fast?
He's tall, 6'2", 188.
I like tall.
Strong.
I'm a fan of a tall corner.
Steven Nelson's not going to be on your roster next year, and you're going to need somebody to play on the opposite side of Slay. Right. So they need a corner, they need a linebacker, and they need an edge rusher. Like if I had my pick at a litter, and I know I don't have this, I'd get Aiden Hutchinson, Nakobe Dean from Georgia at my linebacker position, and then I would take one of these stud cornerbacks. I would take the cornerback third. I wouldn't mind. Ahmad Gardner would be a very nice pick. He would be a very good consolation prize. I like Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson a little bit better, but that's just, I'm splitting hairs at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am kind of fearful of how he's making these picks, right?
100%. I don't know how you can't be.
So part of me says like trade for a quarterback, but I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
You could trade that for Deshaun Watson. I would do it.
Yeah, but not the price they're trying to get right now.
They're not going to get that price.
No way.
He just sat out a whole year. The price of Deshaun Watson has went down so much. You can get Deshaun Watson right now for a first this year, a first next year, and a third. That's it.
That's all I would do.
That's all, and you can get him for a first this year, one of your 3 firsts, a first next year, and a third-round pick, and Deshaun Watson's on your team. Sign that shit up. It's done. I would do it in a heartbeat. He's 26.
Yeah, he's young.
25. Be 26 next year.
I don't disagree. I don't see that happening, but I mean,
He doesn't want to come here.
yeah. I wonder why that is.
He wants to play for Miami. That's where he wants to play.
Okay, interesting.
Miami, Carolina, some of these southern teams he wants to play at. Maybe in warm weather.
I guess because
Clemson kid.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, sure, play there. Be great. To appreciate you being there.
I told you this, Chris. I agree with you. He said birds don't prioritize the linebacker position.
Yeah, well,
they'll take someone off the practice squad. I agree 100%. I
Last time
still
they
want
drafted-
Nakobe Dean.
Last time they drafted a first-round linebacker, I believe, was 1979.
Oh, that's great.
So, and 1979. Yeah, Bill Berkey was not drafted here. I know some people are like, "Oh, what about Bill Berkey?" No, he wasn't drafted here. Cincinnati Bengals. So I would like that too for them to take it about face because you look at Micah Parsons this year and you're like, Jesus Christ. I mean, as much as I like Devontae Smith, just imagine having him.
You want to hear a really asinine comparison that's actually a realistic one?
What's that?
Micah Parsons could be next Lawrence Taylor.
I've heard that.
Like he could be that's how good he is.
Size-wise, they're kind of different. Right?
He's a little bit he's smaller but faster.
Correct.
The guy runs just as fast as your top wide receivers, and he's coming off the edge, and he's strong, and he can bull rush you.
Mm-hmm.
He's a freak talent, bro, and he loves the game, and he's only gonna get better.
And I think
he's like Micah Parsons should be an outside, like a TJ Watt-ish player.
Mm-hmm.
They got to stop trying to play him at middle linebacker. I think that's dumb. And listen, I'm glad that they do that, but he is unreal, man. He's next level, unworldly talent.
I think Dan Quinn is a good defensive coordinator to get a hold of someone like that.
Exactly, but the only thing that puzzles me is they play him 40% of his snaps at middle linebacker.
I think that's because they have a hole there,
No, they don't.
You got Vander Esch, you got him. Jalen Smith was dust, and he got cut
Jalen
anyway.
Smith's gone.
Yeah.
You don't need multiple middle linebackers though.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, just imagine someone like to be on the Eagles that's a middle linebacker or outside any linebacker.
They also have Jabril Cox, who's actually not a bad. I think he's a very good draft pick from last year.
How's he doing? I heard you guys talk about that on Wire to Wire.
He's not playing that much right now, but he was a 5th round draft pick, and the kid's a stud. He's going to play well.
Why did he fall in the draft?
Size. He's not a very big linebacker to play the position he's playing.
Okay. I wonder if the way the Eagles run the ball and are going to run the ball it could affect their build of the team, right? I mean, maybe they worry about size because the Eagles are going to.
Well, offensive line, man. Their offensive line is stud. It's funny. I can actually see them go offensive line this draft too. And that sounds crazy. I'll tell you why.
That doesn't sound crazy to me. Actually.
Jason Kelce. All right, so number one, you have to understand you're going to eventually have to draft your replacement for Lane Johnson. Jason Kelce is not going to play here forever, right?
Correct.
So you have to. Landon Dickerson's going to slide over and be your center for the next 10 years. So you're basically going from Kelce to Landon Dickerson, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a guard, and you need Lane Johnson's replacement.
I know it's not sexy, but I would not be upset if the Eagles did that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's one thing that could never hurt you is depth in the trenches.
If I had my ideal offseason, the Eagles would draft an interior lineman.
Well, that's what they haven't taken.
Interior
in the mock
offensive
draft.
lineman.
That's what they haven't taken.
Not an interior defensive lineman. Interior offensive lineman.
Okay.
But their first pick, they would take an edge rusher, obviously Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson. If they're not there, then you go a different route. So you get a edge rusher, an interior lineman, and a cornerback. And then you go out and sign Allen Robinson.
What?
Because he's going to be underpriced. You're not going to be able to. I hate Eagles fans. They're like, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin. You're not getting them. You don't have money. Stop believing that. It's not real.
I would totally do Allen Robinson. I would totally do it. And I'm going to tell you why. I like Allen Robinson's character. I like his work ethic. They were using him incorrectly in Chicago. They have him running these long routes, and the quarterback couldn't support it yet.
You want to hear something wild?
What's that?
Allen Robinson's never had a good quarterback in his entire career.
Right, and that's why I like him.
Oh, my God.
Because if he has somebody they build around him. They've been using him. They did him
Never.
dirty in Chicago. They did him dirty in Chicago.
Never had a good quarterback in his career.
And he's still been able to produce. He's a great teammate. The guy has every reason in the world to bitch and complain and doesn't. And he just goes out there and does his job. And if you think he's horrible because he did shitty for your fantasy team, I experienced that too. You're not watching football. He still has something left in the tank.
100%. Though.
And
he's got unbelievable hands. He
that would be
doesn't drop
the
balls.
veteran receiver the Eagles need.
100%.
And that would be if you could get him at a discount, especially.
You're going to get him at a discount. He hasn't had
sign him
stats
up.
in 3 years.
I am 100% in on that. I don't want to draft a receiver.
No, I don't.
I want veteran presence to solidify the young receiver core.
I wouldn't mind Jameson Williams though. He's a stud. He is a stud.
I am a big believer though. Wherever you end up in the draft, you draft the best player available. I
How
don't
about
care.
Bama receivers, man?
I mean, they're doing good.
Another Bama receiver, dude. Jameson Williams. He's a stud. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You get him and you can get your hands on him. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
How about a safety?
You don't draft safeties in top 25 picks. You just don't.
Unless they're a game
Best.
changer.
Yeah, exactly. The last one. I don't know. Sean Taylor.
I mean, Earl Thomas, right? Who's the safety?
Earl Thomas was drafted 17th overall. He was drafted in the Brandon Graham draft. So you're talking about 15 years ago.
Well, yeah, but I'm just trying to think safeties off the top of my head that justify being picked that high.
Correct. That's my point. There's not many.
Woodson was a cornerback when he came out.
Trevon Moehrig was the best safety coming out of this draft. I think he went in the second round.
Yeah, what school is he at?
He was at TCU. He
Okay.
went to the Raiders.
Who's the best safety in this draft? It's off the tip of my tongue. I remember hearing his
the
name.
tip of your tongue?
Yeah, but
the best safety in this draft is Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
That's okay, and I heard about them because all the Notre Dame cucks out there. Sorry, Notre Dame.
he's really good.
But you don't think he's going to be there?
He
Ray Didinger was talking about him. That's what I
he's
remember.
predicted to go 8th right now.
So is
He
he
could definitely be there at 10 or 11.
So if he comes up, do you take him?
I wouldn't hate that.
Okay. I mean, I
got to replace Rodney McLeod. He's
yeah,
not
that,
good.
exactly. That's where I was going with that because is Rodney McLeod here next year?
No.
Right. So you're gonna have to
Maybe
replace,
next year, but not the year after.
Right.
Like it's
He's getting long in the tooth.
exactly.
So, I mean, I don't. If you don't, I'm for taking the best player where you end up in the draft. I just don't want to see Howie reinventing the wheel. I mean, where would you like them to go? You said defensive end.
Told you. I said they need an edge rusher, they need an interior lineman, they need a cornerback. I would love to see them take a linebacker. Like I want Nakobe Dean. Like I want him, but you're not gonna get the Eagles aren't gonna. They don't value the linebacker. So I'm telling you, what I think they're going to do. I think they trade one of these first round draft picks back to get more equity next year in a more quarterback friendly class. So what they do is they basically cover their ass and get 2 first rounders next year just in case Jalen Hurts doesn't work out. Like so, you give the experiment another year, and then you have another first round draft pick next year, which is a way more heavy quarterback class.
I think I would like to see them in the later rounds stock up on running backs. You're not bringing Jordan Howard back. I mean,
I think they're stocked on running backs. Like, what do you want to do? Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell. Like, what do you want?
You keep them, but I listen. Running backs get hurt a lot, right?
I guess the Eagles have 5 running backs that can play football.
Okay, but are you keeping Howard and Scott? You think?
I mean, they cost nothing,
Right.
and they're playing good football.
You can get running backs, especially young ones, in the back
Look,
end.
nobody wants to hear this because they play fantasy football too much. Having 3 solid running backs is way better than having a bell cow. Because the bell cow gets beaten to the ground.
Agree.
And I love Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's the exception right now. But Jonathan Taylor 2 years from now will be exactly what Ezekiel Elliott is right now.
Or Derrick Henry, who eventually got hurt because he had a lot of touches.
Just when you're no, Derrick Henry's a freak of nature.
He
He's
is.
huge.
But
Jonathan Taylor has the size and speed now. What's going to happen to him in a few years is he's going to have tread on the tires. Look at Christian McCaffrey. When running backs get 400 touches, they're trash.
That's why they were saying Henry is a freak of nature, and I believe he would have been productive if he didn't get hurt. But we were talking about him eventually getting hurt because of how many touches he was getting.
Correct.
And
Too many touches.
And it is
So
true.
I'd rather have 3, like a trifecta of good running backs than I would rather have.
That's where I'm going with that. Do you restock on the trifecta?
You have it. You're paying nothing for the position.
Howard's not that old, actually, believe it or not.
It's okay. You have Miles Sanders, you have Kenneth Gainwell, you have Jordan Howard, you have Boston Scott, and you're paying nothing.
I would take a couple guys late round.
What? For what? Who are you getting rid of?
Listen, let it play on training camp. You can find gems in 5, 6, 7 undrafted free agents.
They just did. Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, well, he was, what is he, 6th rounder, 5th
Fifth rounder.
5th rounder. Right. So I'm just saying that's a position where the guys get hurt a lot. So I like to see a lot of horses in the stable for that.
They got plenty.
If you're as heavy running team that we're going to be, and I'm pretty sure next year is going to be that type of team, right?
I think they're going to continue to run the football. I think you build this team around your offensive line. That offensive line is the best position you have on the football field, and that's where you have to build a team around.
You know why I like them running the football? When you look at the NFL overall, right, and you look at how teams are built defensively, and you look at a lot of teams with secondary heavy.
To stop. Yeah, you're right. That's a really good point.
And the Eagles are flipping the script on them by running the ball, and that's why, Baltimore's had a lot of success. Some of these other teams that run the ball, there's not too many, but everybody wants to be in a passing league and pass the ball, and defenses will adapt. But I don't think they're going to adapt quick enough where they're going to be able to stop them, especially if this offensive line comes back next year the way it sits and you draft some depth. They're going to be able to exploit a hole in the NFL, if you will. And I think that's a big hole in the NFL, is you'll have your edge rushers, but you could run past edge rushers. Edge rushers aren't necessarily run stoppers.
No, they're not. That's what are called edge rushers.
Yeah, like Khalil Mack, you'll run past him.
Oh, don't use Khalil Mack as an edge rusher.
He's a great player.
Khalil Mack can stop the run and stop the pass.
I don't know, man. I've seen him get gashed.
You want to talk about edge rushers? Khalil Mack's not the person you put in that conversation.
I mean, he's a great player, but I've seen him get gashed in certain games, and because they're running, especially when Akeem Hicks is out.
What are we talking, bro? Stop saying certain games. Give me examples of the Gardner Minshew thing and the Khalil Mack thing. Khalil Mack is one of the best run-stopping defensive linemen in football.
I mean,
the Bears are 5th in the NFL against the run, and he hasn't been there all year. But my point being,
well, their run stop really depends on Akeem Hicks, and when he's out, they get gashed,
bro.
So
if their run stuffer just depended on their defensive tackle, their run stuffing has to do with everything. Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, Roquan Smith, they have studs everywhere on that defense as far as stopping the run. Don't say silly things like Khalil Mack's not good at stopping the run. Bro, you want to talk about edge rushers, talk about Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa gets abused in run.
But
don't talk about
when he was on the Raiders.
He's a fucking Mack truck.
I saw people running on the Raiders when he was on there.
Are you talking about 4 years ago?
But I'm saying he's not. He's known better for rushing the passer than he is for stopping the run.
Okay.
I mean, if he has some upgraded ability doing that, fine. But I'm just saying that's not what he's known for.
No defensive. What defensive lineman, top tier defensive player of the year, is known for stopping the run?
I don't know if
they're not, because they're known for sacking the quarterback. Because that's the statistics that people judge them by. That's why you have Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, people like that who are great pass rushers.
Right.
But
you can run
T.J. Watt is a person that you can run against.
Right. Yep. I agree.
But don't put Khalil Mack, who's probably the 3rd or 4th best defensive end in the league at stopping the run, in that category.
How are they measuring that? Is it just by the
run block win rate?
Okay. Run block win rate. Okay. All right.
Okay, so we got to move on. We got to preview a game.
Oh, that's right. We still have games left.
Yeah. The Giants are playing the Eagles. It's a revenge game for Philadelphia, and I'm telling you, the Eagles are going to win this game by 20.
They better.
The Eagles are going to win this game by 20. Jacob Fromm is going to start quarterback.
Oh.
They don't know. They're saying they didn't name the quarterback yet, but they're strongly considering starting Jacob Fromm at quarterback or Mike Glennon, who couldn't make an XFL roster, let alone an NFL roster. This is the garbage, the slop they're throwing out there this week. The Eagles are going to blow this team out. I don't say that often. You guys have listened to my show, and you listen to this show every week. When have you heard me say this? The Eagles are going to blow out the Giants Sunday.
What's the spread?
10.
Yeah, I would take the spread, actually.
100%. I'll take the alternate spread. Eagles minus 19.5. They're going to kill them this week.
Absolutely. And
it's a revenge game. It's everything that you need it to be. Jalen Hurts is going to kill them this week.
And they should, because Jalen Hurts wants this game back because he knows that they should have beat them in the Meadowlands. And they lost that game. So the Giants are playing wounded. They're not playing for anything. They're playing on the road. It's in Philadelphia, right? I mean, so
yes, if they lost in New York, the next game is in Philadelphia.
So why, if they struggle with this team, that's bad. And
they're not going to. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
start worrying about next week. Washington. At Washington, that's the game you have to worry about. Don't worry about this week. It's over. The game's over.
And that's going to be
already.
a lot tougher of a game.
You don't have to play this week. It's over. The Eagles are going to win this game by 20 plus.
Could they sneak in on them?
No.
Because that's how bad it is.
No, they're not going. There's no chance.
Yeah, with that.
Put your mortgage on it.
Yeah, I feel
No chance Giants win this game.
I agree. There's no chance. I mean, the Eagles just have to go out and do what they did this week. They play.
Their offensive line is going to dominate that front seven from New York.
Did they?
I don't know how you stuff the run. You stuff Saquon Barkley. You stuff everybody in that Giants backfield. You make Mike Glennon or Jacob Fromm beat you with their arm with a bunch of receivers that haven't played half the damn season. Sterling Shepard battles injuries every other fucking week.
He's on the IR.
My point, like,
Galladay.
Darius Toney was the worst first-round draft pick ever. He had one good game. People from New York are like, he's great. No, he's not. He stinks. He played in Florida, and he got a bunch of single coverage because he played next to Kyle Pitts. Kid stinks, bro. He's cheese. Mark that shit down.
And that game,
Darius Toney stinks.
In that game, by the way, he was the only man left standing, pretty much.
Doesn't matter. He stinks. Don't worry about him. Single coverage the entire game because Kyle Pitts was dominating in Florida. He stinks.
I don't disagree.
They're going to kill the Giants this week. It's going to be a 20-point win.
So
mark that shit down.
So the keys to the game are run the ball, and run the ball.
Run it, throw it, do anything you want. Abuse their quarterback. Take the ball away. Stop a mud hole in this team. Let them understand. I want them to beat the Giants so bad that they fire Joe Judge after the game.
I hate the Giants, as everybody knows. I mean, and I do want them to beat the Giants. And I don't think they'll lose to the Giants. There's no way they're getting swept by the Giants. Not this team, not this season. I don't see it happening. There's always a hiccup game during the season.
They had it. It was first time.
Yep.
It's already done. Don't worry about it. They'll trust me when I tell you this. If you're listening out there, the Eagles are going to dominate the Giants this week. Done.
Yeah, I agree.
Both sides of the ball.
I see something like 30-3, like something crazy like that. 30 to 6. I don't
35-13 is what I had.
Yeah, I see. I don't even know if they get a touchdown. I see a couple field goals.
The Eagles will turn the ball over once.
Okay, fair. There's when I've watched a little bit of the Giants games with Glennon and all that. There's no chemistry to receivers. The receivers aren't playing well.
The team hates their coach. They don't play for him.
He's definitely fired.
He's not. They said he's bringing him back next year.
Gettleman said that?
Yes. Gettleman's. I don't think Gettleman.
He's going to get fired.
Gettleman gone?
No,
he's still there.
Yeah, he's getting fired. He's going to get fired too.
The whole organization sucks.
Yeah, they've been bad for a while now.
They have.
So it sucks for them. I like it though when all the teams are pretty good in the division. I like stiffer competition, but
I don't. I like laughing at least one of them.
Okay, fair enough.
They beat us last time they played us. This is not like a laughing matter. I want to beat this team into a mud hole this week.
It's possible. There's nothing for that team. They're playing for nothing and nobody. So if the Eagles struggle with this team,
Carson said it perfectly. I wish Saquon Barkley wasn't on the Giants.
Yeah, I mean,
so does he.
Yeah. I mean, but guess what? Saquon's that's the only thing they have, and he's still not Saquon that you remember from 2 years ago, unfortunately.
He's not, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that's an example of a running back just career getting cut short by injuries. I mean, he's going to play, he's serviceable, but I don't know. Do you think he could go to
catch he made last week? That was
amazing.
Good.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was like, holy.
One-handed, just
ridiculous.
Made a guy miss. He's so good. He just needs to be on a better team.
That's what I was going to ask you. Better team improves the situation dramatically, right?
Yeah, I mean, not dramatically. I think he needs to be in a thunder and lightning situation, timeshare situation. It's funny, but like, there's a lot of situations that could use a Saquon Barkley as their lead back, and then they can have, like, let me give you an example. The Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
You got Myles Gaskin, you got Duke Johnson there. You don't need both of them. Saquon Barkley and Myles Gaskin. Saquon Barkley and Duke Johnson.
You know where I think it'd be electric?
Where?
Baltimore.
That's a really good one.
I think he'd be electric in Baltimore.
I agree. They make what?
Imagine having to deal with him and Lamar Jackson. You're like,
Dante Freeman's playing football there.
Yeah, he looks like Devontae Freeman of 3 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Devontae Freeman.
Test this man for PEDs.
Nah, you gotta protect Lamar Jackson from running the football.
Right.
So that takes a rusher. That takes a person in the box out of the box.
Yeah, I thought J.K. Dobbins was gonna have a real good year until the knee injury, obviously.
J.K. Dobbins, yeah. But see, that's probably why it would have to be a J.K. Dobbins, Saquon Barkley like
Right.
timeshare.
Yeah, I think that would be great for him.
That's what he needs though. He needs that.
It's
Like how Chubb and Hunt have, like something like
Mhm.
that.
a lot of people criticized him for that pick and said they should have went quarterback that year, but they went running back, and they were like, "Hold on, it'll work out." You know, Daniel Jones, man,
Nothing works out with the organization.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is gonna be a free agent too. I believe this is last year.
So, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm sure New York's clamoring to get him back.
Mm.
That stinks.
He'll go play in Carolina next year.
Dude, if Carolina takes another retread quarterback, they don't take a quarterback this year. I don't. Matt Rule needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into our quotes. Want to do quotes first?
Yep.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
I got a really good one this week. Don't be too early to judge someone, or else you'll be too late to apologize. And that has a lot to do with Jalen Hurts. I think that if you're not taking your time judging him, I'm not the biggest Jalen Hurts supporter. Not 100%. I think he's a 15 through 18 quarterback that doesn't have top 10 ceiling potential.
Okay.
I don't. But with that being said, I don't think he's trash and you need to move on and go to Gardner Minshew and get rid of him. He's a serviceable quarterback that's a good leader that players believe in. Stop judging the kid 17, 18, 19 games into his career. He's been a winner everywhere he went.
Yeah. I agree with you. And here's the thing: you don't need to be a top 10 quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco, was he a top 10 quarterback?
No.
I mean, Trent Dilfer definitely wasn't.
You're giving real bad outliers, but I got you.
But I mean, they're outliers. But I'm saying it's possible.
Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Trent Dilfer, and Eli Manning's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But like they're the three that I can think of in my head that won Super Bowls. I probably should have.
Fair enough.
The rest is Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Nick Foles, obviously a stud like
backup,
him.
but
I'm just kidding.
yeah, backup quarterback though, right? We saw it in our
Dude,
own
he
town.
went on a magical run.
He did.
That was like I felt like I was watching Angels in the outfield, but it was like Angels in like the football stadium.
So
Like if Eagles fans still can't admit that Super Bowl run was a fluke, and I'm a diehard Eagles fan, I'll take that fluke any day of the week. But it was like Angels in the outfield.
it took 2 years.
Like they were grabbing the
Yeah.
ball and moving it where it needed to go.
It took 2 years for some people to admit it, and that's when we were having the whole Foles versus Wentz argument. I was like, stop. It's Wentz.
Chris Cargan brought up another one. Brad Johnson.
Yep, that's a good one. I like that.
2001 Brad Johnson.
I mean,
Bucks.
listen, it's an outlier, but it's not the majority of the time, but it's definitely something that happens.
2000 Ravens. Elvis Gerback. That was
Well,
Trent Dilfer, bro.
That was Trent Dilfer. Elvis Gerback. Yeah, no, it was Trent Dilfer. I remember Elvis Gerback. That was a 49ers retread. Everybody thought 49ers backups were gold back then,
Yeah.
and they were signing them.
Remember they signed in the first round. The Ravens took Kyle. I should have been a bowler.
Oh, Kyle Bowler. Yeah, I forgot him. Yeah.
Kyle. I should have been a bowler.
Yeah. So my quote is Marv Levy, and it ties into Jalen Hurts as well.
Okay.
Persistence can change failure into extraordinary achievement. I think the kid's got heart. He's persistent. He's working hard, and I think he's getting better. I mean, if you're looking at it with a fair mind, he gets better every week. I shouldn't say every week. There's weeks where he has had bad games, but he overall, when I'm looking at the trajectory of the season, I feel like he's on the upward trend. I don't feel like he's going backwards, and we know what it's like to have quarterbacks like that in Philadelphia. Especially when you get a guy in that's the backup, and and you think like a Ty Detmer is going to be the guy of the future, and he's not, etc. So we've been in that situation before, Bobby Hoying, etc. But I don't think Jalen Hurts is one of those guys, and I think he's persistent. He's got heart, and I do think a lot of young quarterbacks, even if they come in with a lot of talent, some of them wilt under that type of pressure, under the pressure of being the guy on an NFL football team. And I think his persistence is going to turn into achievement. If it's going to be extraordinary or not, that will remain to be seen. But I do feel like I'm seeing new things from him every week. Like that was the first game where I saw some passes. I was like, wow.
Made two of them that were very, very good passes.
Yeah. And give the kid some time. I mean, I'm with Gene. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback, but But I think he's a quarterback you can win with.
Agreed.
And and I don't think. Let's say there's nobody really in the draft that really you're going to go after, right?
No.
So
if you think that Malik Willis out of Liberty or Kenny Pickett out of Pitt or any of these kids coming out this year are better than Jalen Hurts, you're just not watching college football. They're just not.
Yeah, I'm with Ike Reese on that. He's like, if I'm looking at the draft, I'm staying with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to stay with Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's exciting.
Who's your counterfeit green?
My counterfeit green, you might not like this or you might like this, is I'll hear these quotes about Jeffrey Lurie and, say what you want about him. Hey, he meddles. Probably does. What owner doesn't? But he probably more than the average owner, he meddles. Is they want to pass. They have to pass. They have to pass. Sirianni's only going to pass because they told him to pass. And it looked like that in the beginning, but it sure as hell doesn't look like that now. And, they want him. The word is they want Jeffrey Lurie to be, or Jeffrey Lurie wants the team to be a passing team. That's not happening. Not with this team. And they're playing to the strengths of the team, and it looks like Nick is calling his game. And he comes from the school of Frank Reich, and we have seen Frank Reich play recently where they will run the ball. Carson Wentz only passed 12 times against the Patriots, and they ran the ball effectively to win, right? And he will do the same thing. The counterfeit green is the Eagles fans saying, like, he's not going to be his own coach. He's not going to call his own shots. There's probably certain things that he won't, like, when it comes to personnel. But when it comes to the game plan, I wildly disagree. And it's counterfeit green to say that Jeffrey Lurie's up there doing X's and O's.
Yeah, I think we'll disagree there. I think that, they obviously looked at the situation this year after. I think that Nick Sirianni would have actually started the season running the ball and protecting his young quarterback if it wasn't for the meddling from the front office. So my counterfeit green this week is in the front office. It's Howie Roseman. I think it's very counterfeit green to think that he did a good job in this past draft, or to think he's doing a good job as a general manager because the Eagles team is going to make the playoffs. I think it's very counterfeit to think. I think you're basically playing with fire, letting this guy pick 3 of your first round draft picks. People, like, if you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team and you envisioned it 3 years ago, and you had Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf, you don't take Devontae Smith this year. You take Micah Parsons.
Right.
I get that hindsight's 50-50 or 20-20 or however you want to look at it. But if you take one of those 2 wide receivers, you don't need to take a wide receiver this early in the draft.
Or even if not Micah Parsons, another piece that helped the team.
Correct. So Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Andre Dillard, these are just you can't make picks like this.
I feel like Howie Roseman belongs on the counterfeit green Mount Rushmore permanently.
100%.
Yeah. We're going to make him our first Mount Rushmore inductee. That will be Howie Roseman on the counterfeit green Mount Rushmore.
Before we get out of here, what do you think do you think the Eagles had any Pro Bowl snubs?
Oh, yeah, you're bringing that up earlier. I mean, we had a good conversation about it before the show, and, you brought up a lot of good points to me. I didn't think that until we talked about it. And I
sold him on it.
I have to agree with you.
I sold him on it.
Lane Johnson is definitely a Pro Bowl snub.
Fact.
I have to agree.
He's not allowed to sack all year. He's like 10 quarterback hurries all year, and he is a deer. Runs with the wide receiver yesterday or Tuesday with Jalen Reagor down the sideline. The guy is a staple of your offensive line. He's the best right tackle in football.
Very athletic. He used to be a quarterback in high school. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah. I met him once. Really cool dude.
Yeah.
Got his autograph. And I was asking him that. I asked him about, like, keeping up the weight and all that. He's like, he asked him what's the toughest thing. He said, the weight was going to college because I was a quarterback. Keeping on the weight and things like that.
So Javon Hargrave and Jake Elliott are the 2 others where you hear. I see. Listen, with Elliott,
Javon Hargrave's been having a great season. I mean,
he is, and he's
definitely.
3rd ranked in pass rush from a defensive tackle position. But Elliott,
now, is that connected to the what stat are you connecting that to?
So pass block win rate.
Okay.
The same thing as like run block win rate, but
Okay.
the opposite. But he's 3rd in that statistic. I think that you could make an argument for him. I'm not one way or the other.
Who is the benefit of the snub?
Well, I know Aaron Donald isn't one of the positions, but there's 2 others. I have to look it up. My point being is I didn't think he was, in my opinion, I don't think he was a snub.
You thought he was borderline.
Yeah, I thought he couldn't make it or he couldn't make it. I don't think it was
Elliott was on the fence too. You think?
I think Matt Gay just has better stats.
Right. And I agree. He just had more opportunity because Elliott did have a lull where he didn't have
Here's the complete
many
Pro Bowl
opportunities.
roster. Let me get it for right now. I'd rather give you the interior lineman: Kenny Clark, Jonathan Allen, Aaron Donald. He doesn't deserve. I mean, if you want to argue Kenny Clark, but the Packers are the best defense in football right now, like number 1 ranked defense in football.
Right.
So like, Jonathan Allen's playing unbelievable this year at an unbelievable rate, and Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. So where
You think
where
Jonathan Allen got some more pop because of the game against the Bills?
Jonathan Allen got more pop because on a line with Montez Sweat and Chase Young, he's been the best player.
Gotcha.
I hate saying that, but it's the truth.
We could have got him. Didn't we draft?
It's a first rounder. The Eagles ain't drafting another D tackle in the first round.
Wasn't that the year we took Barnett?
Probably.
Jonathan Allen went to Alabama, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was the year we took Barnett.
So Matt Gay just has better stats than. I think Jake.
He's
Elliott's,
consistent.
I think Jake Elliott's having a great year.
Although I do think Matt Gay has an advantage that some of these field goal kickers get.
SoFi.
Right, you're in a dome. You know what I mean?
Controlled environment.
So
I agree with you.
And that's when I pick a kicker in fantasy football. I always think about, can I get a good dome kicker?
Yep, I agree 100%.
So especially if they're in a division where there's multiple domes,
or multiple warm weather teams.
Right. Falcons is a good one if they have a good kicker.
I drafted Matt Gay in every one of my fantasy leagues,
Yeah.
but
he's averaging about 9 points a week, and that's pretty
I
good.
think he's like number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
With that being said, to all you guys out there, I'd like to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We will see you before the New Year, so I won't say Happy New Year yet. But I hope you take the time with your family and you actually spend that time, be present with everybody at home. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, for some people, and I also want a special shout out to anybody that's having a rough Christmas, rough holiday, because for all the the merry and jolly you hear, there's also at least 1 or 2 people that that are not having the greatest Christmas. They lost someone that they loved, or they're not having the best Christmas in the world. So I want to wish you guys all the very, very best, and I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. And with that, put you over the D, Godfrey.
Yeah,
Sign us out.
I'm gonna double down on that and say, wish everybody a good holidays, a good Christmas. And I'm gonna double down on what I said at the end of the show. Listen, if you know someone that might not be having a good Christmas or they're alone on Christmas, invite them over, give them a call, do something like that. Because I always think about the people that are alone on the holidays. Being alone on the holidays could be a very depressing thing, just in general, for someone where they feel like nobody's with them, so to speak, right? Everybody's with their families, things are shut down. So give that person a call, reach out to them, do something small, be in a Christmas spirit that way, and reach out and touch someone like AT&T, right? It's the old school one, right?
Oh God, please don't bring up AT&T.
What, you don't like them?
I work for Verizon, sir.
Okay, sorry. He works for Verizon. So that AT&T doesn't exist anymore anyway. They got broken up. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming in. Birds Deep. We'll be if things work out, we'll let you guys know on the Facebook page. Taking a Deep. I'm sorry, not my apologies. Birds Deep. I'll be doing my show next week. Taking a Deep. Wire to Wire will be on Wednesday, 8:30 to 10. You guys are doing your show that week, correct?
Yep.
And we plan on trying to do our show after this. We'll let you know. We'll get a cemented time for you guys on the page, like Birds Deep. Find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Birds Deep podcast, and take a listen, share. Share our podcast. Give it to someone as a Christmas gift. It's free. Best Christmas gift of all, but it keeps on giving. So with that being said, folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. This is Z Godfrey and Gene, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.